All right. Invite. Invite. Let's do it. My name's Alexis Ray, and my point here is to yeah, there's my girl Altovise Pelzer in the house. Yup. There she is. That's my girl. Hi. So y'all kind of know who I am, right? Maybe my voice or my background. But if I was at a networking meeting, you'd probably avoid me like the plague. But quite honestly, the point is, there's certain things you can do to stand out with your brand out, and there's certain things you shouldn't do. One of them is to try and be obscure. So what you really want to do is come out and stand out for all the right reasons. And you want to do it in a way that people can relate to. This is really fun if you're going to a Blues Brothers party. I get it. But it's not something that you want to do when you're trying to get people to sidle up next to you. They will run away. So, with having said that, Miss Thang, are you on mute? I want to hear your laugh. Okay. There she is.
No.
There she is. All right. So you're getting some love up in the house already, which I love about that. Hang on. Let me just turn that volume off, and away we go. Lorianne, Wendy, welcome. And I'm excited because networking often doesn't work for people. And there's so we're not born taught, like knowing how to do this, right? We're basically born to whine to get some food, and then later we want wine because we want it. But that's a different story. None of that helps in networking. So I'm going to stop talking and let you do your thing because you have so much to offer, and I'm excited for you to share this with the world.
So I am excited as well. When it comes to networking, I was that person that was just thrown all the way off because I'm an introvert. And so networking, being in a room with a whole bunch of people just shoving business cards into my face did not work for me.
No.
Those who know me well when I say business cards make me itch. And they definitely do. And it's because I had to find my best way to network. And I also had to do it in a way where, let's just be honest, who wants to sound like the carpet cleaner salesman?
Not even the carpet cleaner salesman.
Not even the carpet cleaner salesperson. Like when you think about networking, that's immediately what we went to because that was the way that things were done back then. Guys, it is 2019. We have so many different opportunities to network and create things, and people miss it because they're thinking, oh, I just need 5,000 business cards and hope upon hope that somebody will call me back.
That doesn't really work, does it?
It doesn't.
Like, what's the number one problem with that strategy?
The number one problem is that we're not building relationships. And so you're expecting somebody that gets your card to remember who you are.
Right.
Because most cards, let's be honest, most business cards don't have your picture. So you're expecting them to remember who you are and remember why it was so significant for them to connect with you. Let's be honest, we have a lot going on in our heads.
Yeah.
We got kids, spouses, businesses, we have books, we have information that we're downloading every single day. Yes. And you're competing with everything that's going on in that person's head.
That's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah. So do you like walk around with like a hand buzzer, and then when you call them, you'd be like, I'm the one who got you.
Right? I feel as though a lot of times we wish we could. So what I'm going to do is let's see.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Lorianne and Heather and Wendy for joining us. Thank you very much. Hey, look, you did it. You pulled it off.
Yes.
What? Awesome.
So for me, networking has really been a huge success. I've not been able to make it to where I am if I did not have networking. And we all know the amazing quote that your network equals your net worth. And it's so very true.
Yes.
It only takes one conversation for you to really be able to expand your territory, expand your business, your brand, but also expand what it is you have to offer. That part. And so, three things that you already have could be helping you in networking with other people. Now, when I think about networking, we know that it used to be that there were 7 degrees of separation. So, literally, you could meet people, but it was like you had to meet this person to that person to that person. It was like this huge web, and I don't even like spiders. It was this huge web for you to try to get to the person that you wanted to talk to. But with social media, with LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Periscope, Twitter, Snapchat, you literally are only 3 people away from the person that you want to connect with. And that's your audience. That's other people you can network with. That's even celebrities at this point. You're literally about 3 people away. So learning the key elements that we already have in order to use them, that seems like a whole better solution than just grabbing 5,000 business cards and kind of dealing them out. Doesn't work that way,
The
right?
sprinkler method.
Yeah, just you get a card, you get a card, you get a card. That's not going to work. So, and I know that again, this has been ingrained in us. This is how we, even this, listen, even business schools and business programs at universities and colleges still enforce you having a good number of business cards and handing business cards out. But, um, whereas today it's more about relationship, they don't push it as much, that part.
Altovise, I know that you have a presentation, and so I don't want to interject and like mess
Oh
up.
no, you're good.
But can we ask questions along the way?
You sure can.
Okay, so I have a question then about being able to connect. In my head, I'm thinking of a networking meeting. That's like everybody. I don't know anybody who loves those. Some people
No.
do, but I really don't know them. So what we're looking at then, I'm just saying, is that there's an opportunity at hand to at least have somebody welcome your phone call. But honestly, sometimes you have at BNI you have 30 seconds to say who you are. You pop up, sit down. That's it. If you're at another kind of meeting where you're the new person, it's an awful feeling. And then they want you to introduce yourself, and then what do? Kind of like elbow yourself through the room, and how do you build rapport so that they actually are glad you called?
So I always tell people that when you meet people, people should learn 3 things about you: who you are, who you serve, how you serve. Now, does that mean that I'm going to go tell you, hi, my name is Altovise, and I serve women who have been through abuse, and everybody in the room goes, hi, Altovise? No, that's not what I'm saying. But in just sharing common denominators, we learned this in school. Let's take it back old school. Let's go back to school.
Okay.
Common denominators. Remember those? They made us cringe in school.
Yeah.
If you can just find the common denominator, you can start a conversation with someone. Let me tell you this. The reason why we are scared about trying to introduce ourselves in 30 seconds, because we're not thinking about building a conversation. We're thinking about introducing ourselves.
Yeah, see, that's why I like to sidle up next to somebody and, my technique by now, right?
Exactly.
I nudge them and go, so aside from the cheap hot dogs and beer, why are you here? Or is this your idea of a good time on a Friday afternoon too? Or at 6 a.m.? Disarm with charm.
For me, it was completely different because I had to find little things that really stood out for me that I could talk about. And so I was never the one to really initiate conversation like that. But if you had on some really cute earrings, oh, we're going to talk because I want to know where you got those from. If
Yeah.
you have on some really cute shoes,
Yeah.
oh, let's talk. And I did a networking um, webinar for the Black Speakers Network, and I was sharing with them how that's the way to do it. Instead of being so worried about just, how many people can I tell them who I am? No, just build that one significant relationship. Just have that one significant conversation. It can change everything. I went to a networking event, and afterwards, somebody was looking for somebody that does videos, and that's what I was doing in my side business. But it wasn't something I advertised. It was just something that those who knew me, they knew what I did.
Yeah.
And somebody was looking for video services, and immediately my name popped up. Now, other people had been conversating in this thread before I got there.
Yeah.
But guess what? I got the person inboxed me because they were like, "Weren't you at the networking event that we were at such and such time?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Well, such and such, recommended you. And you know what? Inbox me your prices." That's more than me handing out business cards. That's more than me telling people, because I didn't have to tell her, even though she was at the same event. I didn't have to tell her
Yeah.
that that's what I did. Somebody else did.
Yeah.
And
So
it
you
was
go
because
over and
of
you
that.
say, "Hey, buddy, go tell her how good I am. I'll be
Exactly,
right here.
right?
I'll be right here. I will pretend like I don't notice." Okay.
Right? I've never
But
had to
third
do
party
it.
testimonials are where it's at.
Exactly. And we've lost the art of seeking out word of mouth and really being in a position to where word of mouth can really make a huge difference.
Mm.
I know that's like one of those old school terms. Like right now, you're probably cringing thinking about your great grandparents or something. But word of mouth really does do a world of justice for you, but it starts with you having those conversations and building up that network.
Sure, sure it does. Yeah. Yeah. So you're at a networking meeting, you're brand new, or maybe it's a cocktail party, whatever, whatever, like where people aren't sitting down. And moving around the room can be really like uncomfortable or challenging, or it seems like everyone's got to click. So what do you do to break in? How do you actually build rapport? Do you I don't know, ask them, do you feel left out too?
No, and this is the thing, because when you tap into how I networking is not just a networking event thing. Networking becomes an everyday thing. I can network with people when I'm in a supermarket. I can network with people if I'm in an Uber. I can network with people. It becomes an everyday thing. It becomes a process.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you said that, because honestly, there's people that think, that it's only in a room somewhere, but our message is everywhere all the time, no matter what. And to be ready to be able to speak on that in a way that somebody can hear is without it sounding like, oh my God, I'm so glad I got your ears. I have them both with my hands and I'm just going to like talk in your face. It's not like that abrupt, but we also don't want to be so like laid back that we miss those opportunities. So, when you're talking about everyday life, it really becomes a matter of seeing those opportunities. And I have this expression, it's not mine, it's ancient. And it says, it's not a gift unless the receiver wants it. And so it really does become a matter of finding out what their interests are and where their needs are. This, anyway.
Most definitely, most definitely. And it just, yeah, that's what I had to find out. I couldn't just be comfortable in showing up and handing out business cards. I'm weird. I'm different. I don't do what everybody else does. I'm a unicorn. So showing up like everybody else, that just did not sit well with me. And again, for some, that's who they are, because everything is business attire and they have to show up with a suit, and I don't like suits.
They make you itch too, huh?
But there is a place for them. There is a place for you dressing up and dressing to, fit into the room that you're in. But guys, listen, we are in an era and an age where people can show up just authentically them. I may show up with a t-shirt that sparks a conversation. I may show up with, my hair a different color and it sparks a conversation. Listen, I'm that person. And because I'm like super shy and introverted, I go and it may be I wear a pop, like a really bright color. That starts conversation. Now I did it one time. And
Why do I feel like an uh-oh's coming?
yeah, it was interesting. I was nominated a few years for an ILA award, which I won this year, but a few years ago I was nominated as well. And I went to the event and I showed up in this bright yellow dress that came like a little bit above my knee, and I was sassy. And so what I didn't realize was that it was more of an elegant event.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So I truly stood out. But guess what? I had about 3 or 4 people come over to me and go, "Oh my goodness, I love the color of your dress. That yellow looks amazing on you." And we started a conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It still works.
It does. It sure
still
does.
works.
Yeah. I want to throw something in there that worked for me years ago. I created some business cards that had fabric on one side. I figured out how to do it. They're really super cool. And so take the concept, guys. Next time you get some business cards done, not the fabric part. People complained because they couldn't write on the back. And so I didn't launch the line. Yeah, it was called Fab Art. And it was really cool. And when you did this with the fabric, you could see holograms, patterns in them. They were beautiful, absolutely works of art. And so the theory, the principle, the point here is this: having multiple colors of cards, because if you're still at an event where that's going to be your prop, because you're not going to wear bright yellow, and any kind of weird attribute might seem like awkward, is just to give people an option, because they'll remember. If I fan out and I go, "Which one of these do you like the best?" then they have an option of the print. So this is something that I do in the promotional products business, is giving people options in different textures, materials, whatever it is. And then that person remembers that they were given an option on something that normally would just be your standard, whatever, handout white card. So it's a good side technique to use.
Right. Always choose something that's going to make you stand out. Don't be outrageous. This is the thing, is that when I say to people, choose something that's going to make you stand out, they think, "Oh, I have to come in looking like a clown." No, I have to come in doing like I have, right. Look, I have to come in miming and acting like I'm in a vault. No, what are you doing? Come in as you. Whatever that unique piece of you is, come in with that. So I showed up when I went to Steve Olsher's event. I'm a unicorn. That's me. I literally have a bunch of unicorn stuff. And when I showed up, I was a little nervous about it the first, day or so. But when we did the day for the pitches, I went and I brought my unicorn, because that's me. That's how I shine.
Nice.
My unicorn sat on the table. Well, people were like, "Does she have a unicorn?" And they come and ask me about it. Yeah. Well, what's the unicorn? What's that all about? Why do you call yourself a unicorn? And one of the podcasters was like, "Oh my goodness, don't let my daughter see that." And when her daughter saw it, she said, "Oh my goodness, I have the same one in a different color." It sparks conversation. It doesn't always have to be, in the beginning, a business conversation. And I'm going to tell you what really sparked this the most for me. As I travel, I speak. For those of you that do not know, I'm an award-winning speaker, author, podcaster, crazy person, blogger, and unicorn lover. But I found that I'm always a people watcher. And I watch how conversations are started. And so I remember sitting on an airplane one time, and a gentleman looked over at the person that was sitting across from him. They were both sitting in the aisle seats. He looked over and he said, "Man, I like that watch." And he said, "Oh man, I got this watch." Da, 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 da. And they ended up talking the whole flight. By the end of the flight, before they got off, they exchanged business cards. But it wasn't an exchange of business cards before the conversation.
Sure. Yeah.
And they talked about several different things throughout the flight.
Yeah.
But then they exchanged business cards. Why? Because they wanted to take the conversation further.
Sure.
Make people want to take the conversation further.
Yeah. Could you just walk around the room and say, "Can I have your autograph, please?"
Look, right? Depending on where you are, you may just want to do that part.
Just checking. I mean, there's multiple ways to stand out. Some of it is what I call grandstanding, and basically grandstanding is kind of like, guys, you know, when you've met somebody who's arrogant, there's a difference in the vibration of someone who's arrogant versus confident. So grandstanding really is, and so many people have such a weird feeling about being proud or expressive about what they do. And it's a shame. And then that, you know, that recoiledness actually translates to how your brand comes out and who you are and what you have to offer. And that's not what you want. If you love what you're doing, and I hope you do, then, you know, by all means, feel confident in expressing it. Even how you say your name, even how you shake hands. Oh God, guys, please get a good handshake. So, true or true, Altovise, if somebody goes with the limp, guys will do it too. I just want to smack them. Didn't your mom teach you better? I'm remembering you, but it's because I don't want to ever touch your hand again, because that was disgusting. It felt terrible. It's like, did you just die in my own hand? Did I do something? What happened here? Honest to God.
It's so true. And this is the thing. Certain people look for certain things. I tell men, you don't have to, even if you're somebody who, you know, you're at an event and you have on, everybody has on business suits. You're going to look around the room and say, everybody has on business suits. They all look the same. They don't all look the same. Some men really value their tie.
Yes.
Some people really like the pocket square. Some men like bow ties instead. For me, I told him, when I did the training for Black Speakers Network, I told them, you know, I saw for my brother-in-law, for his groomsmen, I bought them the like cufflinks, and they were different superheroes.
Nice.
I'm like, if you're
Those
somebody,
are fun.
right? If you're somebody that likes cufflinks,
Yeah.
that can be your in. Because people that like cufflinks are paying attention to your cufflinks when you come in. Men that like shoes are paying attention to your shoes when you walk in the door. It doesn't matter what event you're at. It does not matter. It doesn't matter if you're at the supermarket or at the sports arena. When you walk in, if that's something that catches their eye and catches their attention, that's where they gravitate.
Yeah. You could wear a bunch of things that goes to total strangers. So, is this better, or do you like this better?
Exactly.
I just want to connect with you. Well, go ahead, honey. I don't mean to usurp your time here. Go for it.
Oh, well, I was telling you guys some things that you already have that can help you with networking.
Yes.
And when it comes to networking, nearly 100% of people say face-to-face meetings are essential for that long-term business relationship, right? So when I talk to you guys about that face-to-face meeting between two gentlemen on the plane, that was, you know, face-to-face, and it could lead to something else. It led to them wanting to exchange business cards, but it was only after they had spent that time talking and getting to know each other. And then for every dollar, now this is a biggie, for every dollar companies invest in travel, they receive a $12.50 in value. Why is this so important?
Wow.
Get out of your comfort spot.
Wow.
Travel to an event.
Wow.
Take a flight, take a bus, plane, train, automobile. However you got to get there. Get there if you can. Listen, however you got to get there. Because the investment is going to be so much greater for you. Now, what I find out is that people get comfortable. And so they only go to networking events within their city, or they go to local things at the library. They go to things that may be in the next city over. They may travel out to the next state. But I mean, really get up, pack a bag, and go to an event in Vegas. Get up, pack
okay.
right? Yeah. Go to an event in California. Get
It's a
outside your
very,
comfort zone. Like,
that's
stop thinking that you can do everything right in your little bubble. It doesn't work.
that is such a good idea because it's actually easier to be a little crazy where there's nobody's right. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. You know, you can be a little bit crazier. That I love that idea.
Exactly.
That is so
And
smart.
I've gone to events. So because I travel and speak, I've spoken in places all over, California, Indiana,
Yeah.
Florida, all over. So, you always get a different temperament in the room. You get people who are local in the room that you get to meet. You expand your network. And guess what? You open up opportunities. But if you're not willing to step outside of your little bubble and your little circle, your little space, man, look at what you're missing out on. So for every dollar you spend in travel, imagine getting 12.50 back.
Golly, I'm doing the math and I stink at math. That's actually a great figure. Wow. Wow.
That is a huge increase.
It
So
really
imagine
is.
if you just went to one event a year.
Yeah.
If you just
Yeah.
went to one, look at how that could shift your whole atmosphere. Look at how that could shift your whole dynamic. Just one event a year
Wow.
could change your business.
That's a lot. Yeah. Yeah, no, and that's incentive. Oh, and it's a write-off too. Just saying.
Come on, yeah, come on, come on.
Yeah, excellent idea.
Now, the
That,
other part is the close rate for in person meetings.
yeah.
So, if I meet you in person and I speak to you face to face,
Yeah.
my close rate is about 40%.
Wow. Are you reaching in their pocket and getting their wallet? Is that what's
Look,
happening?
right? Are you just going from table to table and just saying, hey, hand me your wallet and hand me your pocketbook? But it's because people still buy from who they know, like, and trust. And I get to know, like, and trust you a little bit better when I get to see you. But that's one of the reasons why video and live streaming has completely like blown everybody's mind, because you get to see the person. Well, part of the person.
Yeah. You get to
But
see
you get
their
to
style. You feel their vibe. You get to,
exactly.
I don't know, check out their paintings. I don't know, whatever it is, however you see
Exactly.
them.
You get to
Yeah.
see something
Yes.
outside of it
Personal.
just being a picture.
Yes. Yes. Comes to life.
It comes to life, exactly.
So let
And
me ask you about that 40% closure. Is that would be in a follow-up? Because they say the fortune's in the follow-up, right?
no, this is just in person, just meeting in
Really?
person. So imagine,
Wow.
so what I do is I normally go and I'll do an event. And for those of you that aren't speakers, there are a couple different types of speakers. There are content speakers, there are keynote speakers, different ones. But something they do is they do a sell from the stage. Some people do a hard sell from the stage, some people do a soft sell from the stage. But every speaker, normally, when they speak, are doing some type of sell. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're selling a product or service, because I've gone to events and my sale was, come be a guest on my podcast. And in that instance, I've gotten like almost 100%,
Sure.
closing rate. But they're selling something. So it could be a book, it could be a course, it can be one-on-one sessions or an upcoming webinar, any number of things.
Sure.
But because they're in the room with you,
Yeah.
there's a certain connection that happens.
Yeah.
And, there is a technique to it. It doesn't just happen. You got to practice it. Some people, unless you're like some people, because I've had guests on my show that were like, the first time they like closed like a $20,000 in sales. But it's a matter of they're in the room and they see you right then and there, and they want to buy from you right then and there.
Yes. And so, guys, what you really need to have down, and I think you may be alluding to this, Visa, is your sales conversation, and that is, and it goes something akin to, I do such and so, and the result of that is this. Who do you know that also needs this?
That
Thank you,
part.
Nichols. We love you.
Come on, right? And you have so many people that don't have that gift. They don't have that technique. They don't have the wording. They don't know what to say.
You can learn
And
it though.
they get scared immediately. And I'm like, no, don't get scared. People are here. They're listening to, it's like you rile them up And then you're like, okay, see you, bye. It's like you coming in my kitchen and then you cook this amazing cake. I'm a foodie, sorry. You cook this amazing cake. It smells good. The whole house smells amazing.
Yeah.
Then you take the cake and you leave. Where's my piece of cake?
Y'all serious about that?
Give me my piece of cake. And that's what a lot of you do when you go to an event. You're going, you're making this cake, you're giving this full presentation, you're beautiful, you're up there. Well, handsome too. Sorry guys, can't leave you out. You're
Right.
handsome, you're beautiful. They're taking pictures, they want to take pictures with you afterwards, and then you just leave. And they're like, but I wanted more.
Yeah. Okay.
That part.
Yeah. So if you're going to be there, learn how to handle it, and that vocabulary, or not vocabulary, but the verbiage for how you can actually move forward from a handshake or an introduction is something that you guys can learn. Speakers generally practice their speeches 200 times to have them down. 200 times before they take the microphone in hand, guys. And so being able to be that confident in your opening line and then what follows after that, it starts first in your mind that you can possibly do it. You know,
Exactly.
and one of the things that I'd like to share, Visa, is that helped me so much, and that was you're not selling to the room, you're selling through the room. So when you're meeting that person in front of you, you are not at all talking to them about how they can help, buy into what you're doing or whatever. You're not selling to them. You're simply finding out who they are, because chances are they know somebody else. And in the same vein, I would like to encourage you guys to be really excellent listeners, because somebody may come up to me and say, I'm doing, I don't know, soap. And I'll say, well, I'm actually really allergic to that kind of product, but I do know somebody, because I'm thinking, on their behalf. To shut somebody down immediately because it's not right away available for you is not really a bigger heart-centered kind of approach. I don't know if that's the right word. But in the end, it doesn't serve you, because what you want to do is find out how you can help them first.
That's me all the time. And it leads right up to what I have on the screen too. When you show up, you're showing up with, again, who you are, who you serve, and how you serve. And so I always lead with service first. And you get some people that they get a little antsy because they're just like trying to sell, sell, sell. And again, when you walk up to somebody in the street, do you just say, hey, can I shine your shoes? That would just be weird.
Yeah.
Like it's weird. So why would you think it's any less weird if you're walking up to a business owner and say, can I send your emails out for you? Can I, or I always get the people that send me inboxes with links and flyers and okay, how do you don't just come in thinking that you're going to have me come and support your business. No, let's build a rapport. How are you coming into the community? How are you serving the community? And let's go from there. But again, we need to get popped on the hand for that one, a lot of people.
Absolutely, Visa. The other day I got an email from a guy who said, our mutual friend, this was on LinkedIn, referred me to you. I have a goal of doing 90 podcasts in 90 days. And that's all he said. Basically, yeah, I don't know. I know. And I'm like, we have a mutual friend. You're doing 90 podcasts in 90 days. Good on you, bro. But that's it. And then he told me more about his goal. And I was like, not sure what I should do with this. It didn't, you can see how that would be epically wrong. And it's a newbie's mistake in reaching out to podcasters, which is, don't do it. Not like that. Not like that.
No.
What do you bring it to the table?
And a lot of podcasters are looking for guests. They're looking for guests on a consistent basis. So even the top podcasters are looking for people. So you can always get on people's show, but do it the right way.
Yeah, I mean, what did he want me to do? Go look up his podcast, have a parade for his goal, figure out how it was that I could fit him into my world, do some research. Sure, let me go figure out all about you, buddy. I'll be right back. I mean, come on, guys, make it easy for someone. One of the best things you can do for a podcaster is paint the picture of how the show will go that you would like to be on. Here's how I see myself fitting in and serving your audience. Here's how I think that show will go.
That speaks volumes.
That's giving. That's value. I mean, I just realized, giving is so much more a part of networking than getting. Just this conversation. I mean, it's not the first time I thought of that, but I'm just saying, it's the old B&I philosophy, giver's gain. But you want to do that from a genuine place in your heart, not like, well, if I do this, buddy, then I've got the list on you and I'm going to take notes and you owe me one.
Exactly.
Just because I helped you out. Yeah. Anyway.
It does. And it takes time because we've been doing this thing for so long. And this is what we were just talking about. The three major mistakes that I always see in networking is always selling over serving. Selling to strangers, you haven't built up that know, like, and trust factor. And then thriving off the impulse buyer. I cannot... I loathe those who that's how they thrive. That's how they make their businesses, is thriving off of the impulse buyers.
Could you elaborate on that? I mean, I can figure out the words, but tell me what that means from you.
So thriving off of the impulse buyers is you have some people that buy just because they see something. You have some people that will download your book because it's free. Just because it's free. That's the free thing. You have people that will go and download your webinar because it's free. Not necessarily because they're your target audience, not because they are a community that they're trying to get into the community, not because of any of that, just because that's what you're playing out to, is the fact that they want something free.
Sure.
And unfortunately, can I just be honest? A lot of people are information hoarders. And so the impulse buyer, if it's cheap enough, we know that now automation is great. I love automation. I love having funnels, and certain funnels work very, very well. But you see some people that's all that they do. They wheel and deal you, they nickel and dime you. And when you look up, you've spent couple $1,000s with someone and you don't necessarily have anything to show for it.
So you're talking about the seller that's put out the funnel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. They thrive off of the impulse buyers.
I see.
They're not really finding out what it is that the audience really wants. They're just feeding them. It's you're just indulging them and feeding them and feeding them. Okay. And it's one of the things that was pushed a whole lot when this whole coaching boom started a couple years back.
Yeah.
That was one of the main things that was pushed. But so if you look at these three major things, you can see how we've really come away from having conversations and building up that network the right way. So that way is this longevity. That's what we're working on, longevity. We don't just want a customer for today. We want a client that will be here, for some time, or that will be not just excited, but somebody who will look at what we have and want to go and tell others.
Yeah, so you want to have something quality for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, something of value. Sure. Yeah, good points. Very, very good points. Yeah.
So now,
speaking of which,
listen, right? What do you already have? You already have books. People forget that books are a way to network, and one of the ways that we can network with books is some people use books as business cards. Books are great for if you're doing an event and you can sell them. But also books are literally, they are your business card. They tell people, again, who you are, who you serve. But not just that, are you looking at places where you can actually leave copies of your books or sell copies of your books?
Yeah.
People miss that part because they're not building up that network. They're not having those conversations. Mm-hmm. And so when you start having those conversations, your book could be in every store in a strip mall. Well, if people are walking in the stores and you keep seeing your book, they may buy your book.
True. Make it easy for them.
Make it easy for them. That's it. And that's the biggest piece of this. Make it easy. Make it easy for yourself. Make it easy for them.
Yeah.
And so I love books. Blogs is another great way for you to network. And a lot of people are already blogging. This is the thing. I get people who say, oh, I don't have enough time to blog. And oh my goodness, I got to write so many words. You really don't have to write that many words. A blog can be anywhere from about 200 words on up. But not just that, you can write a blog and submit it to somebody else's blog. You can write a post and submit it to somebody else's blog. It's still networking.
Oh.
You're putting yourself in front of their audience.
I didn't realize you could do that.
Mm-hmm. There are a lot of bloggers out there that look for guest posts and guest hosts for their blog. And you may do it once a month. You're building up a rapport. But guess what? When you do that, that means you got to do your part. So you should be sharing it out with your network. Hey, look at the blog I just did on such and such's, website. And
is that what guest host on a blog means? Is it you've written one for that day or whatever the time frame is?
That's it.
Okay. Right.
And we see it a lot. You may see opportunities where people ask about it, but because it's not really something that people were discussing, people were just kind of bypassing it. Like somebody would say, oh, I'm looking for guest writers or guest bloggers. And people be like, okay, I don't blog.
I'm all down for that now. That's just smart. I just haven't gotten into the blog world at all. So, I mean, guys, my ignorance is actually something to you can have a laugh, and I'm okay with that. But it's also inspiring because there's still so many more markets and avenues for connection and recognition or celebration of somebody else's thing or whatever. There's just more things that haven't been explored.
And who did really big with that? Huffington Post. Do you see what Huffington Post did? They went and they gave people a title that you were a contributor for the Huffington Post. How does that look to other people when you go and let people know, or they see it on your profile that you're a contributor? That's what you are. You're a guest blogger on the Post, on Huffington Post. And it being Huffington Post, people were like, oh my goodness, that brings with it an amazing, an amazing thing to your name and to your brand.
Right.
You're on the Huffington Post, but you're not a main contributor, but you are a guest contributor, and that makes it still plays out the same way.
Yeah, it does play out the same way. It's kind of like, well, if they thought you were okay, then maybe you're okay.
Exactly. Exactly. And so people forget that part. It's a great way for you to network. And again, it doesn't have to be a huge, long blog. It can be a couple hundred words. You go ahead, you put it together, construct it, and then reach out to some bloggers that you may know, and they may do something. As a podcaster, I am so senorita fancy pants. I may take some of my episodes and create a blog for it. And that'll be what I reach out to people for. So it's leading them back to the podcast or to that interview. It's leading them back to my social media, but I'm also sharing it out because, I share stuff out all over.
So, this I love your ideas. I just want to say hi, Hector and Amy and Jamie and Sarah, who've joined us. People are popping in and out, and it matters that you're recognized. To me, that's as much of an important aspect of networking as anything else. Is it, I don't care what you're saying. If somebody pops in on a live, they're taking time out of their day. Say something to them, like
most
it
definitely.
Matters, it really does. Anyhow, I forgot what I was going to say. I did. Oh, what is the difference? It's kind of a fine line we're talking about now with marketing yourself when there isn't, a press the flesh moment which is what we typically see networking is defined as rather.
Mm-hmm.
What is the difference in how do you make use? Because really, I think what you're saying, Hun, is it's that you do a blog, it leads to this, it leads to that, or that thing leads to the blog, and then there's people that are seeing it, how do you work? Then the networking starts, I think.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, part of it, you're networking with that blog, whoever is the owner of that blog.
Gotcha.
And so you're bridging whatever um, whatever genre you're in, you're bridging it with whatever genre they're in. And you have a lot of people that just on LinkedIn or on Twitter that will reach out and say, "Hey, I would love for you to do a guest blog on on our blog." Or you can reach out to people. I've reached out to people on Instagram and said, "Hey, I would love to do a guest post on your blog. Can you let me know if that's an option, and what would be the process?" And many of them will say, "Hey, we would love to. Shoot me an email at this,"
Nice.
and they'll give you all the information. And in that aspect, you're still serving, because if I'm providing you a guest blog, then that's one less blog you have to
Yeah.
post.
Yeah.
You know that I'm going to market it.
Yeah.
Hey, Paula, you know that I'm going to market it. You know that I'm going to talk about it. So it's bringing more traffic to that post and to your blog.
Yeah.
And you never know where to go. Like I said, some people would like the Huffington Post. They started it where they said, "Okay, we want y'all to come back, do regular posts," because it's bringing even more traffic to our website.
Yeah. Right. There's the service part.
Hmm.
In the end, doesn't it all seem to be the answer? How do you answer somebody's "What's in it for me"?
That's it. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Eh,
Exactly.
There's
And
nothing wrong
then
with that. Sometimes you have to be very clever and stand out.
that's it.
Because like the kid I was mentioning who sent me an email that said, I have 90 podcasts in 90 days. I know we have a mutual friend. I'm like, okay. Um, yeah. So I forgot what I was going to say again. There was something about that mattered. It has to, I mean, really, oh, I've lost my computer screen went blank. Can you
Oh
still see?
no.
I'm
I
on it.
can still see you.
Okay, good. I'm just gonna pretend.
Oh,
I am I on Zoom?
okay, there you go.
So weird. Okay, we're back. Yeah. So the what's in it for me part is, I'm not like probably came from that place of all podcast hosts need content. I'm here. I'm gonna save your day. It's like not really. So you really have to paint a bigger picture on how you can help expand someone else's brand and what you bring to the table.
Exactly.
Okay.
To go in with that. How can I serve you? Hey, I would love to do a post on your blog. And this is where having the technicals and the numbers come in. I have a social media following of 60,000. I would love to be able to share out, I would love to be able to do a guest blog and share it out to my social media following. If you have a large email list, I would love to share it out to my email list. I have 10,000 people on my email list. Know the numbers, because the numbers speak volumes when you're talking to somebody who's a bigger name like the Huffington Post.
Yeah.
But then when you're doing the smaller ones, it's just how can I serve you? Sometimes it's just the exposure. Sometimes it's just having the conversation. But it can take you really far.
So then you're networking to get in that position in which it's a win-win. Then then how does networking, then the engagement happen after that? And because in a social internet world, I'm at a loss for words. In a digital world, how do it's that day? It's Friday, isn't it? All day. It is. It is it's sort of it's more of a mystery as to how to connect and serve and pull somebody in, and it's because they were just somebody who hit like on your blog or maybe made a comment, and then you want to start networking with them, or maybe they wanted to start networking with you. I mean, I've had people show up and basically kind of go, "Hello, I want hello." Okay.
Exactly. And so it's usually your call to action. What's your call to action? So even when you're doing a blog post, what's your call to action? Do you want them to come follow you on social media? Do you have a freebie that you can offer them? what's the call to action? So the same way that you would sell from the stage when you go and do an event and speak is the same way that you would have a call to action when you're doing a blog post or when you're doing a podcast interview, when you're, whatever it is, even when you're going and doing, now you wouldn't have the call to action when you're doing a networking event or you're going to an event and meeting people that way. But when it's in this dynamic, then you would have some type of call to action.
So then basically the building of the network, it happens through the nurture sequence on the back end.
Right, because the thing about it is that blog doesn't go away. Same way our podcasts don't go away, it's evergreen.
Yeah.
The blog doesn't go away.
Yeah.
So somebody may see that blog 6 months later and connect with you then when they see it, and they're like, oh my goodness, I just saw the blog and man, I love the content, and I wanted to reach out to you. I've had people who saw something that was shared maybe a year ago reach out and say, hey, I saw this and this, or this interview you did a year ago on such and such podcast. Yep. And I'm like, okay, I don't even remember that podcast. Yeah. But sure, let's go. How can I serve you?
Yeah.
So it's along the same lines. It definitely puts you in a place to where if you put the content out there, people will find you.
It's like, I didn't write that blog, man. That wasn't me, man.
Right? Depending on what it is, right?
There's another Altovise Pelzer out there. That wasn't. Did you like it? Oh yeah, that was me.
Yeah. Like, let's talk about what you felt about the blog first.
Yeah. Yeah. So which part was it you liked? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then the third thing was your social media. And so I'm super silly, but I'm always engaging with people. I go live, I do live streaming, I do podcasting. And it's so interesting. I was at an event in Philadelphia where we were meeting Common. I love Common. And the event was really crowded, extremely crowded, more crowded than what they thought it was going to be. And so I didn't get a chance to meet him and take a picture with him. But this picture is one that I took outside across the street from where the venue was that we were meeting him at. Because me being me, I'm silly. I can't take pictures with him, but I can sure take pictures of me. And so I went outside and I was taking pictures because this shirt is actually from Common's line, his Let Love line. And it's one of his shirts. And in taking the picture, we were standing outside, me just being me again, always just trying to be full of giggles. And his team was actually in the truck outside. And so as we were going to another place to take pictures, we saw like a beautiful mural. They opened the window and was like, hey, where'd you get your shirt? And a conversation started. Well, the conversation started, we were talking, and my sister ended up getting Common's shirt, his sweatshirt that he had actually worn. She almost passed out on that one. But they recorded us when they gave her the shirt, and they posted the recording on where? Social media. Well, it had, the last time I looked at it, it had like over 300,000 hits on his Instagram. It was on his Twitter. It was on his Facebook. It was everywhere.
Wow.
Just for showing up with his shirt on.
Wow.
It makes a difference.
Wow. When I met Coolio, I ripped my jacket off. It didn't have the same impact. Oh, I got a picture with you.
What did you have on under the
I'm not even kidding. I had on my Almost Famous jacket, some red leather pants, this shirt actually. And I pulled off the jacket real quick, threw it down, gave my camera to the security guard. I said, get this picture.
Yeah, take this.
Yeah, we did. Different impact.
It was funny because people who knew me online were like reaching out to me. Oh my God, you're on Common's Instagram. Go get the picture. Go get the video. Like they were like spazzing out. My inbox was like so full. And even people who were on the page were tagging me. Oh my goodness, I know her. I went to high school with her. But what was it? It was just me showing up being me. Yeah. I like the shirt. Like, That's a great way to network, especially now with us doing so much on social media.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
And so that's it. So the next thing that's needed from you is your action, your consistency. Saying that you're going to network and do this the right way and show up and serve. That's what's really going to matter.
Yes. Yes. Brilliant. Yeah, some really good tips in here. Very good. Thank you so much for doing this.
I love it.
Yeah, I knew from the day I first saw you doing a podcast that there was something special about you. I didn't realize it was a hidden horn, but
Pretty much.
I'm okay with that. I love that. Thank you once again. Yeah, we'll just put this out there because it's a good presentation if you're okay with that.
Sure, most
Okay,
definitely.
great. Excellent.
If anybody wants to reach out to me,
That's what I wanted to ask next.
World Voice League on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. I had to think about it.
Yeah.
Definitely come over and join our free Facebook group. Or if you put hashtag World Voice League in Facebook in the search bar on Facebook, it'll come up to the free group. And we're always sharing things in there. We're always having conversations.
Okay.
But it's a really engaged group. So come on, join the conversation.
And I also know you have a book about networking. So tell me.
Yes. So the book is called Plug In. It's 25 power networking tips for introverts, startups, and the success obsessed. And it's literally some of the things like when I told you guys about my earrings, showing up with my favorite earrings or some interesting and different earrings.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I have been able to use to network. And so I gave you 25 of literally my power networking tips that I have used in order to find success.
Nice. Excellent. And the title I got Plug In, 25 Power Networking Tips for Introverts, Startups, and
the Success Obsessed.
The Success Obsessed. Okay. And what is the bit.ly on that one?
It's bit.ly// plug in my voice.
Plug in my voice?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. There it is.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, you got me on the bit.ly thing ever since that last time. I'm doing it all the time now. Thank you so much for that. It's one little tip, dude. One little tip is a game changer.
Yeah.
It's fun now. I'm like, oh, I have an extra long URL. Come here, bit.ly. And it's like fun.
It makes a huge difference.
It does. And I got that from you. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm going to go deal blackjack to some unsuspecting partiers tonight. And, yes. Well, it's a part-time gig. It's just fun. It's a lot of fun. I cheat on their behalf. They're like, I want another card. And I'm like, no, you don't. Not that one. We didn't get to do that in Atlantic City, where I was a real dealer. It's very strict. So this is called Fantasy Casino. And so there's no money exchanged. And it's just fun. And it's a fantasy for the dealers, too, because we would never get away with that in a casino.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so. All right, honey. Have a wonderful and blessed weekend. Congratulations again. Welcome. Yes, on multiple awards. Yes. I know, right? It's so good. It's so good after all that you've been through. And I just want to say this one thing. That the report, and you didn't even mean to do this, but you did a live after our Poke the Podcasters, and I watched you on that, and it was a different person that showed up, and that person that showed up on that live was someone that was blown away, visibly blown away, and yes, and smiling a lot, of course, and because you had great news, and it was so very touching to see that, yes, you were excited, but you were so moved. And that in itself, that was so endearing, Altovise. It was so endearing to see you that way. And the genuine, you're always genuine, but I mean, there was even more of a, the walls are down, this is like such a big deal kind of thing. And that level of vulnerability is genuinely appealing. So keep it up.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I mean, because there's a tendency sometimes, I like to goof around, so do you, and it could seem like, oh, we have to do that all the time, but we don't. And I'm not saying that you feel that way at all. I'm just saying, yeah, we had some conversations about that as a networking tool or what have you, and you certainly wouldn't want to show up at a meeting crying, and you don't want to do a video crying, but you can, but to show your vulnerability and that other side that goes a long way, and those videos don't go away. So
Exactly. You show people this is real life. This is, real things are happening, and
yeah, yeah,
it just happens.
yeah. Yeah, I had somebody say though, I get it that you're moved, but if you're trying to tell people you can help them through your tears, I'm not impressed. It's like, but again, anyway, have a happy, wonderful weekend, everybody, and to you, my dear, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Yeah.